Did the bear market just start? Well, fear is incredibly high in the market right now. You've probably noticed. If you looked at your timeline, it's basically just everybody losing their minds. One of those days. We got under $100,000 for Bitcoin last night. We have a lot to talk about. We have charts. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. And where the bear market starts and ends, let's say. And we're flirting with some incredibly dangerous levels right now. We still have a few days for the weekly candle to finish. That could see those particularly worrisome levels not be such a problem. But we're going to get into that. We got macro, we got government shutdown, we got all kinds of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and get straight into this, guys. Look, the government is still shut down in the USA. This is 100% weighing heavy on markets right now. Yeah, okay, tech stocks ran up too fast and was getting a bit frothy, so a correction was due. Corrections always happen 2 steps forward, 1 step back in stock markets and crypto. Well, crypto markets are like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, then jump off the cliff and, light yourself on fire, but that's a different story. Government shutdown is continuing, okay? It's one of the longest ones in history. Now, the problem with the government shutdown, aside from people not getting paychecks and all that kind of stuff, is that the Treasury General account is currently not bringing the liquidity into the system that it should because of the shutdown. So banks are struggling right now with liquidity. The longer that goes on, the more tightness in the financial system there is. You don't want tightness. You want looseness, baby. Loose. Okay, so what's interesting is after the government shutdown 2018, 2019, after it reopened, there were 7 consecutive weeks of green candles. Now, that does not mean that's going to happen again, but once liquidity starts flowing from the TGA, once things start working normally again, the upside potential favors bull. Plus, it's the super moon, it's the beaver moon. It's full moon today, guys. To the moon. Yeah. Anyway, Poly market currently showing, this is very interesting. The U.S. government shutdown is now favored to end in the next 4 to 7 days. Okay, that's where the most odds are. You still have about 31% of participants over on Poly market saying that it's going to be beyond the 16th, so another 2 weeks of government shutdown. But now things are getting pretty serious, okay? Obviously, the air traffic control problem is being a very serious issue in the USA right now. But also, I think Trump said that he's not going to send out the food stamp money until they reopen the government, which that's going to put a lot of pressure on Democratic voters and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. It's an interesting one. 4 to 7 days. 53% chance we are open by the 11th, according to prediction markets. Okay? That's a week away. When they reopen the government, I think that's a very positive catalyst for markets to start moving up, okay? That's probably the big thing. Which makes me think, again, charts, we're going to get to that in a second. There's things that are looking pretty fucking rough right now, okay? But the bear market will not start when liquidity starts flowing back in. This current lull we're seeing in the market, driven by lack of liquidity in the system and all the rest of that kind of stuff, is what's causing a lot of problems right now. A lot of the macro still looks really good. And there are, of course, always issues in macro, right? That's always a problem. But overall, the picture looks pretty good. So let's see if we can get that government open back up in the near future here, guys. Arthur Hayes, Bitcoin, yellow, liquidity here in the white. You can see TGA buildup sucked up money out of the system. So that Treasury General account's at $1 trillion now. They've been building it up, right? So what happened there? Liquidity got sucked out of the system. So when they start draining the TGA, when the shutdown ends, that's going to flood liquidity back into the system. And that favors risk assets like Bitcoin to go up. Bitcoin's incredibly sensitive to the system liquidity. So there you go. We also have good news out of China. China announced they'll suspend the additional 24% tariff it imposed on U.S. goods for 1 year. China will retain a 10% base tariff on those goods. The suspension takes effect from 10 November 2025. Also, China announced to remove tariffs up to 15% on certain U.S. agricultural goods starting from that date. Great stuff. SPX futures currently down 0.35%. NASDAQ futures down 0.55% currently. Dollar index right here at this major area of resistance. Okay, we are above the 200-day EMA for the US dollar index. That's not good. A big breakout on the dollar here is not going to favor anybody. And I think that when the government reopens, they start draining the TGA, we're going to see the US dollar index correct as well. But right now, dollar's showing a lot of strength, which hammers risk assets like crypto, like stocks. Okay, so that's what we're seeing currently. Joe Consorti, Bitcoin's now down 20% from its all-time highs. In equity terms, this would be considered the start of a bear market. We've already seen 30% drawdowns this cycle. Nothing new under the sun. The supermoon, baby. Supermoon. Historically, which is today, by the way. Historically, supermoon days see BTC rally 11 to 18% afterwards. 21 out of 21 times it's happened. Every recorded supermoon has coincided with a same-day Bitcoin pop between 11 and 18%, 21 out of 21 times. If seasonality holds, the next lunar spike could light the wick. Satoshi, don't forsake us. Come on. Come on, supermoon, buddy. Supermoon. Why not? This is good as much for opium as anything else. Bitcoin whales buying Bitcoin after being dormant for years. This particular whale, known for making $120 million in 3 trades between 2022 and 2024, this guy just bought $85 million of the Bitcoin. Not bad. This is an interesting one. This guy against Wall Street says, just spot this in Bitcoin's 4-hour chart. Every time it dips into oversold, it has nailed a local bottom. Okay. Now, sometimes you will get a secondary push. For example, here in October, right? So you have this initial push down, which gives a deep oversold reading, and then a lower price after a sort of relief rally, you get a lower price, which is a bullish RSI divergence, okay? But worth keeping in mind, okay? Just because the RSI is oversold in the 4-hour, it's usually a good indicator that at least things should chill out, that things have got adequately oversold for at least some kind of bounce to come into the market. Haven't got much of a bounce yet, but let's see what plays out. But usually these 4-hour RSI oversold signals are at least good enough for a local-ish kind of bottom. This is a very interesting one as well. Plan C posted this. Bitcoin weekly RSI, same level that we bounced from multiple times before, throughout the whole run, actually. The RSI on the weekly coming down to these levels has been a bounce zone, okay? Alex posted this. Every massive BTC rally since 2023 started from this blue line. That's the 50-week moving average. We're back here again. If this week closes below $103,000, this cycle might be over. This is a very, very, very critical place we're at right now, okay, chart-wise. If you close below the 50-week moving average, whether you want to do the simple or the exponential, they're around the same price. If you want to see the market do well, you need to get above those lines for the weekly close. We have 4 days until the weekly close comes in. It's Wednesday today, right? Happy Wednesday, everybody. We have 4 days until the weekly close comes in. All bulls need to do is get us back above, let's say, $104,000. That would say, okay, we wicked down. It's fine. Weekly close came in above the 50-week, okay? Pi cycle indicator, not even close to crossing yet. There's so many of the traditional indicators and metrics we would use for Bitcoin to say, okay, the market cycle top is in. Not a single one's fired yet, okay? So worth keeping in mind. Also worth keeping in mind that while we're currently testing this 50-week moving average, that every time before when we tested, it was also massive panic across the timeline, and everything is going to be over, okay? Worth keeping that in mind. Credible posted this. Actually, it's interesting. He posted this back in September. Fascinating what's played out since then. This move down to around 100K. This was his one of the two scenarios, either move down to around 100K or a move down to around 90K. One of two possible scenarios here, either one of which would be the second wave after the first wave, which essentially started back in April, May. We've just completed the first wave. Second wave correction here. Third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave, potentially in this scenario. seeing a market top of around $200,000 or so for BTC in around April, May of next year. Interesting. Negen Tropic from Swissblock. First step for BTC on the path to an all-time high, reclaim $103,000, which is discussed a very, very important level. Above $106,000, volatility starts skewing to the upside. Momentum accelerates quickly toward 111, 113. Once 113 is reclaimed, expect a sharp move into all-time high territory. That's when Ether majors begin to trill out of form. Patience is key. With everyone calling a top here, it'd mean the most clear-cut top call I've ever seen, which is unlikely. It's true. It's true. Market tops tend not to come with no euphoria and just a few people saying, hey, the top's here. Tops happen during euphoria, not disbelief. I agree. Look at gold. The gold, until we have people lining up around the corner to buy Bitcoin in Hong Kong from physical Bitcoin dealerships, not like, physical Bitcoin, maybe like brick and mortar shops where you can go and like bring cash and buy Bitcoin, then we'll know the top's in. Till then, we wait. We wait. What's interesting here, look at this chart. Fascinating, fascinating stuff. So this is the downtrend support line. We've just come back down to retest. I see 1, 2, third touch here. Very interesting, very interesting. My current Bitcoin longs got to stop just, oh boy, if we can stop down this one, it's going to be a punch in the face, but say la vie. The current stop loss is below the lows here, okay? So the bet, the thesis for the trade is, we're not gambling, guys. We're not speculating. The thesis for the trade is 4-hour RSI oversold. Bouncing off this key line right here. The move under 100K got bought up very quickly. Okay? So does that mean we go straight back to the moon? Absolutely not. It's going to take some while. But could that be the local bottom? It's possible. It's possible. I say that because sometimes, as we mentioned, the 4-hour RSI sees us putting in another low. So you can see a low here at like, 97.5 or something like that as an example. So that would give you the RSI bullish divergence in that situation. Why would you long a dead cat bounce? Well, let's see what plays out, man. Let's see what plays out. So far, like I said, there's my thesis for why I put in a long, okay? If I get stopped out, say la vie, I'm not going to lose all my fucking money, okay? Lose a couple $1,000, not the end of the world. It's all good. The reason why I'm longing is just as I described. Oversold RSI, bouncing off this key line of support. The move under 100K seems a bit exaggerated, all that kind of stuff, okay? In terms of it being a dead cat bounce, I think we need to see a little more, I think we need to see a little more confirmation, right? If we have 13 more hours for the daily close. Let's see if volume starts picking up here or not, okay? We need a couple of daily candles here to say, okay, like a dead cat bounce would be, more like what we saw here when I was talking about, guys, back here on the 27th of October, we saw this move up, nice move, but lacking any kind of volume commitment for a breakout. Anyway, continuing. So that long, as mentioned, is currently in here. Currently at a small unrealized loss. Let's see what happens on that trade. If it gets stopped out, I get stopped out. That's life, man. Look, if you guys want to join me trading over on BitUnix, there's the link down below. Go check it out. So anyone, anywhere can use BitUnix. You guys can start trading over there today. Click the link down below. And they have crazy deposit bonuses right now. Put in $1,000, get $200 back, $2,400, $5,700, actually all the way up to $10,000. $100,000 deposit. So if you're a whale out there, you got a $100,000 deposit, you get $10,000 bonus back. That's crazy, man. Those are huge, huge bonuses. Plus, you go straight up to VIP level 3. You can long the rips, short the dips, do all the good trading. Link down below. Go check it out. Join me trading over on BitUnix, one of the hottest exchanges in crypto right now. Okay, so 360 trader, y'all getting fooled by Wall Street. You literally can't stop what's coming. And they sure as hell will try to shake you out before they release their crypto products on the world. Pre-Clarity Act shakeout. That's right. We're getting the Clarity Act introduced into Congress at the end of the month. Okay. Government's going to open back up. TGA is going to get drained. All this kind of stuff. We just need Bitcoin to end the weekly above $103,000. It's not so much to ask. Oh, I know a lot of shit can happen between now and then. Don't get me wrong. I know I've been in these markets for a long time. Expect the unexpected. But we have a lot of bullish catalysts coming, okay? This event we're seeing right now, which was pushed by the 10-10 crash that made everything so much worse than it fucking needed to be. The 10-10 crash happened during this government shutdown period where liquidity was already extremely tight. We had 3 DeFi protocols hacked yesterday. By the way, did you guys see that? 3 DeFi protocols hacked yesterday? It's crazy. Moonwell, Balancer, and something called XUSD. Crazy shit, man. Kyle Reedhead from Milk Road. The state of CT right now. I just want to break even and exit crypto. Probably my biggest financial stake, but it seems that even that isn't going to be easy if we continue to puke. Incredible industry. Great technology, man. Great technology. What is up? Thank you, man. Appreciate you guys. Send us the love right back at you guys. Reality, 4-year cycle believers are selling. Hopium smokers believe in the super cycle. My advice, do nothing. Buy and hold. The real short squeeze is in 6 to 12 months. What was the Clarity Act? The Clarity Act is basically going to be a comprehensive cryptocurrency bill to provide clarity on the entire cryptocurrency industry. So I'm not sure of all the exact tiny details of the bill. We're going to see that when it gets introduced. But generally, the idea of the Clarity Act is to say, hey, cryptocurrency is a serious asset class and it's all good. The Genius Act was a big bill that got passed too, but that was a stablecoin bill. The Clarity Act is going to go the next step and try to regulate the entire industry, which is a good thing overall. Yeah, apparently, I'm not an expert on the situation, but apparently Moonwell got hacked. Balancer, which I don't know anybody's even using Balancer anymore. Balancer got hacked as well and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, 3 hacks yesterday. Things are breaking. Here's a good one. It's actually interesting. He posted this back on October 15th. This is from Alex Wasey. Posting this here. ETH going back down to around 3,200, 3,000 bucks, something like that. Followed by which we'll get a massive rally up to $7,000 some in Q1 of next year. Interesting. Lark, have you made any changes to your portfolio? In the last 24 hours, no. Like I said, we got into an AI 16Z bag, which is currently underwater. Shaw's going to take my money again. He's a developer. They're taking my money again, guys. I added virtuals, sold Wormhole. What else? I sold another one. The heck was the name of it? Don't even remember anymore. It's already gone. My brain's already washed it from real. Okay, sold Pancake Swap as well. So, and I took that money to put it into virtuals and AI 16Z. Let's see how it works. These are very small position changes, like my core positions, Bitcoin, Solana, stuff like that. I haven't really messed with any of that stuff. Pump Fun. I've added, what did I buy today? I bought some more virtuals, bought some more Solana. So, yeah. Anyway. That's the tricky part. If we end the week below $103,000, could the extremely bullish news pull us out? Well, if they reopen the government, start draining the TGA and stuff like that, it could. It could. That's the tricky part. They'll get you right as technically, if you see a weekly close under that sort of 50-week moving average, that's a pretty strong bearish signal. Okay. Cardano did not get. That's true. Cardano did not get hacked. You know, it's guys. You know what? It is. You're true. It is absolutely right. This is genius stuff. Cardano did not get hacked. Respect. Okay, we got all these DeFi protocols over on ETH and shit getting hacked, and Sui getting, or is it Sui? Moonwell. Don't even know. I never used Moonwell. We got all these protocols getting hacked. You know what? Cardano, they figured it out, man. How to not get your DeFi protocols hacked. It's genius shit. Just don't have any users and don't have any money on the protocols and no one's going to fucking hack them. Smart. Smart, man. You got to give it to white papers on that shit, man. You guys. Oh, my gosh. I'm asking Sandra 150K BTC this year. Let's go. ETH. Oh man. By the way, support line right here. Look at that bad boy. Boom. Came down, tagged it right there. Oh, my Ethereum long survived the night somehow. I have no idea. If it got stopped out, it would have got stopped out in big profits, so it's fine. That long's been open for a long time. But I was hoping that we're going to run it to, you know, a higher level. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Currently sitting around $1,300. Nothing good happens under the 200-day exponential moving average. Purple line on the chart here. Okay. Downtrend, well and truly in effect, especially on the RSI. The good news is, of course, that we get closer and closer to an RSI breakout. And actually, if you zoom in, really zoom in to see it, we did get oversold on ETH on the daily, usually a point from which we bounce. Okay, you see last time we got an oversold reading was back here, 26th September, price rallied from $3,800 to $4,800 following that. This, we didn't even get to the oversold level. We got here to 2,100 to, well, basically a new major rally forming up. Back here, 7 April, $1,400. How'd that even happen? $1,400 up to about $3K within a few weeks. So markets are oversold. Does that mean they immediately bounce? Does that mean we cannot become more oversold and have even more fucked up capitulation happening in the timeline? No. Of course, things can always get worse. Don't worry. But if ever there was a halfway decent spot for a bounce, it's in these levels. Solana ETF inflows slowed down yesterday, just $13 million. Still respectable, but obviously with everybody freaking the F out, people were not piling into Solana yesterday. Ethereum saw some pretty big outflows, $200 million yesterday of outflows. Bitcoin also saw some pretty big outflows yesterday. I don't want to buy a coat, Zegna. No, get out of here. I live in Dubai. I don't need coats. Come on, Zegna. What are you doing? $500 million of outflows Bitcoin yesterday. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red days in a row of massive Bitcoin outflows. We've just absorbed an extra almost $2 billion in sell pressure in the last 5 days. Okay. For perspective here, Solana currently sitting around this previous area of price support here. We got down to $145 overnight. We did get into oversold territory here. Okay. So worth noting. Previous times we've been in oversold territory back here 26 February led to a big bounce, but was not the end of the downturn. Okay. Worth pointing out there. Previous lows, actually the low price of $96 is crazy. It actually came in here and the RSI was around 33. So it's not a perfect indicator by any means, but it can let you know what sort of general momentum is doing in the market right now. And it favors a bounce seeing an RSI on the oversold daily like that. Gumshoe pointed out here, the pump team continues to buy over $1 million worth of pump every single effing day. It's crazy, actually. November 3rd, $1.3 million in buybacks, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. What is going on over here? Pump. Actually, what's fascinating yesterday is that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana got hit a lot harder than some of the altcoins. Why is that the case? Well, institutions primarily invest in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. So we saw institutional selling. We saw ETF selling, right? $700 million in sell pressure between Ethereum and Bitcoin yesterday from the ETFs. All that kind of stuff. So BlackRock don't have fart coin, man. Not yet, anyway. It's another story for another day. Pump fund held up relatively decently yesterday. Yeah, I mean, it got down here to 0.0034, but bounced back pretty much straight away. It's looking halfway decent. Not great. Still under the key moving averages, but it's, decent, let's say. Zcash continues to defy all reality. Okay? There is no reality. This is Zcash's world now. We all just live in it, apparently. I gotta redraw these lines here. It just continues to slowly grind higher. Hats off again to all you Zcash bulls out there. One of the few coins outperforming the market right now. Literally, everything puked its guts out yesterday. Zcash is up to almost new yearly highs. Hype sitting at the 200-day EMA, not a bad spot to be keeping an eye on if you're a hype bull. That's a fascinating place. Also worth noting here is that this downtrend line right here, what do we do? Came back and retested that yesterday around $35. Very, very interesting. One of the strongest assets in the market right now. I suspect it will continue to be. Virtuals got shielded by Tom Lee. Sitting at 20-day EMA. It's not too bad. Tom Lee, you got to buy somebody. Come on, just buy a Billy. Buy a Billy, man. Just cut off a cool $1 billion. Buy some virtuals. It'd be great. AI 16Z. This was when I drew this. This is where I'll probably just take the hit, deal with it, and walk away and lose a bunch of money again. You're welcome, Shaw. Enjoy my money. You'll spend it better than I will. He's the dev anyway. NASDAQ, red day yesterday, of course. Like I said, if we fall 5.5% or something like that, by the way, a MACD bearish crossover coming in the next couple of days, potentially. If we fall down to the 50-day EMA, it's totally cool and normal. The problem is crypto's probably not going to like that. Bitcoin acts as a high beta play to the NASDAQ. So when the NASDAQ's down 1%, Bitcoin tends to go down 2.5%. I know what you're thinking. Well, Lark, if we were a high beta to the NASDAQ, why the fuck didn't we go up in price? It's a good question. Crap. That's why. In theory, if Bitcoin followed to the upside, markets have been looking a lot better recently, but we only follow to the downside, it seems. Classic. Clean Spark having a pretty big correction. Pre-market's showing it right here at the 50-day EMA. I wouldn't be shocked to see it come back down like 13, 14 bucks. If that happens, I am probably going to double my position in it. You can see MACD trending down pretty hard right now after hitting this overbought territory here. So a correction's cool and normal. I think these Bitcoin miners transitioning to AI data centers are pretty interesting plays. Qualcomm back down to the 20-day EMA. You can see also critical resistance back here and here. So kind of retesting that line there as well. I would like to see it. I'd love to see it actually back down here, the 50-day EMA. I'd probably add a nice little bit extra to my stack there. AMD has remained stubbornly high. By the way, Qualcomm, in case you missed the news last week, they're basically within the next year going to start rolling out chips to directly compete with NVIDIA. So I feel like a potential catch-up play is brewing here. AMD has remained actually pretty strong, which is interesting considering how much some of the stocks have corrected. 20-day EMA right here. Pre-markets are showing it back down here at 237, basically at the 20-day EMA. So let's see. If you see it back down to the 50, might be an interesting spot to add some more too. Newsletter. It's awesome. No, seriously. Got some very sexy people reading this thing. Link down below. It's free. Go check it out. Stock charts, crypto charts, alpha on stocks and crypto. We've got altcoin reports, DeFi reports, stock reports, all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. Huge value. Go out, check it out. It's awesome. Okay, so let's hydrate. Get your Perrier's out, or whatever your water of preference is. It has definitely been like that. Bad news would go down, good news would go down, interest rates go down, we go down. You can basically count that whatever's going to happen, crypto's going to go down. Seems to be the way things have been going. Do you consider XPL to still be a good investment? I never bought XPL. We talked about it because of the hot coin of the week at the moment. When it came out, and a lot of people made a lot of money because they got huge airdrops and pre-salers were up and all that kind of shit. I never bought any. I didn't. I always overthink things, and I was like, where's the use case of this? Is it a good buy now? I have no idea. I feel like if you're going to look between XPL and STBL, STBL's got a much lower market cap currently. And it has the co-founder of Tether on board as well. Man, that's crazy, man. Better put it on the screen so you guys can see it. From $1.60 to 22 cents overnight. It just speed ran an entire bear market basically on a wild. This is like a 45-degree. Look at that, man. Skate down that sucker. That's a steep, deep drop. Now, the bull case here, okay? If you're thinking I'm bullish on XPL Lark, well, the bull case is breaking out of this line right here. Okay, break out of that line. Might be, especially if the broader market doesn't just keep puking its guts out, maybe it's at least good enough for a move up to like the 50-day EMA or something. It's about 50 cents. I can see that. Still think STBL is probably a more interesting play comparatively, though. Just my opinion. Don't have a position in either of them. Do you find it strange that so many long-term dormant BTC whales while welcome to the last 6 months? No, I don't at all. You got to remember, some of these guys literally bought Bitcoin at like, yes, the red light hat, Texas chain hand. Thank you very much. Almost forgot. My man. Okay, so I don't find it all strange at all. You got to remember, some of these old OG Bitcoin wallet guys, they bought Bitcoin for like $100 a coin. There was the one guy, he spent $50,000 to buy 80,000 Bitcoin. And he cashed out for 10 billion. I mean, look, at some point you're allowed to take profits. Why not? Yeah, but Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million a coin. Why wouldn't this guy wait and get $100 billion? I mean, unless you have some really big, I don't know what you're even going to do. $10 billion is probably enough. You're probably going to be okay. So I can understand cashing out. I mean, shit. If I had $10 billion sitting in Bitcoin, maybe I wouldn't sell all of it, you know, but if I had 80,000 Bitcoin, you know what, we're going to sell 75% of it something. I don't know, man. Why not? Why not? AMD has something 395 XAI chip with integrated graphics and memory, much like the M series from Apple. The current market, I can only afford tap water. Don't learn from the first video, nerd. Oh my gosh. The videos back in 2017 were super nerdy. Super nerdy. Please tell me if we're at the bottom so I can sell everything again. Well, like I said, based on the factors we discussed earlier in the video, at least a local bottom, not saying the definitive bottom, at least a local bottom could be in effect. But let's see if stocks start puking their guts out or something, or Trump tweets some bullshit. Markets are feeling very emotional and fragile right now. So just keep that in mind. Can we pull? You know what? Yes. Yes, I can. That's a great idea. That is a fantastic idea. We have not talked about Fartcoin in far too long. This is the new paradigm money, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. In case you have not been indoctrinated into the good gospel of the Fartcoin. Jokes. No, seriously. Here we go. Approximately like that. It's not perfect. We got some candles and stuff cut through there, which I generally don't love when drawn a line, but just gives you a general idea of the trend. So we are under trend here, over the downtrend line there, but basically it is looking super rough, man. Very clear, very, very strong downtrend. Even the oversold RSI here didn't give us much hope, to be honest. A very small bounce before more downside price action. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 underside touches on the 20-day EMA right here. So that's the yellow line. It's currently coming in around 36 cents. Current price is around 25 cents. So the market's telling you very, very clearly it is respecting the heck out of the 20-day EMA. Okay, so if you are a Fartcoin bull, I mean, I guess you're buying at value now, but this is the thing. Fartcoin's a trade. I don't see it as a hold, right? They're fucking meme coins, guys. The meme coin literally of a fart. You know, let's just be honest about what we're looking at. This ain't AMD or Qualcomm or Palantir or something, man. It's the fart coin. If you're looking for a trade on this, 20-day EMA breakout, that's probably okay. Market showing strength. Risk on has come. The government's back open. They're draining the TGA and all that free liquidity is going into Fartcoin, baby. 20-day EMA breakout, probably a long scenario. Until then, I would stay out of this and probably most of the meme coins that are looking similar. Personally, okay? I'm a little more optimistic on you know, playing around with some trades on the majors and stuff like that. When the charts are looking a little more like shit, meme coins, I think we need to show some strength in the market, you know. And this thing, I think, well, shouldn't I long now from 25 cents and then, you know, it'll be awesome. And why wait 36 cents? Catch the meat of the move. You don't have to catch the whole move. You're better off waiting for confirmation. Okay, where are we at? Just say I don't know. Good luck. Nobody knows. Good luck. including me. We just have our opinions. We have our good times hanging out, talking. You always got to remember, at the end of the day, I'm just a dude on the internet, man. We all have to make our own decisions. That's the great part, the very empowering part that I think a lot of people don't always realize about investing is that you're the boss. You're in charge. You're the one clicking the buy and sell buttons, right? I've got my theses, things I do with my money. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. We went from Lambos and Rolex to Corolla, soy milk, and Casios. Hey, Casios are cool, man. I literally bought Fart Coin at the top of that trend line. Ouch. Where I live, they charge you $1,200 just to access the tap water. Henrik Zeberg is convinced the biggest pump ever is incoming, imminent than the biggest crash ever. There you go. I like Henrik. He's got some interesting takes on stuff. Again, I could see it. We've talked a lot about this. This current price action that we're seeing. I could easily see the markets pumping when the government reopens, when they start draining the TGA, injecting liquidity back into the system. That gives us a rally. It goes into like Q1 or something like that. And when Bitcoin's around $150,000, $160,000, probably not a bad place to consider taking some money off the table. I was the guy buying gold at $4,400. Dan, no. I bet Larks thinks Cardano's a meme coin. It's not a meme coin. It's a cult coin. There's a difference, okay? Even Dogecoin's got its own blockchain, though. I'm telling you, man, they should just rebrand Cardano, turn it into beard coin. I mean, how many men around the world have beards or aspire to have beards? Turn it into beard coin. Just don't even worry about all the, partnerships and trying to do DeFi and get stable coins on the chain or find users or anything like that. It doesn't matter. Just a cult coin, man. You guys know I love Cardano. Big fan of Charles. But anybody who looks at the current metrics of Cardano and think that's good. You're talking like you don't influence people. Like I say all the time, you guys need to make your own decisions, right? I understand. You come listen to these videos, hang out in live streams because you want to talk crypto with somebody. I get it. But look, I share the things that I do for public knowledge, right? As an investor, as a trader in these markets. And I understand some people will then do zero due diligence and act on whatever I've said, right? I understand that. That's the hard part about making YouTube videos. But I always encourage you guys, you have to make your own decisions. You have to do your own research. Don't borrow conviction. Don't borrow conviction, okay? Now, if you hear something I talk about and you're like, oh, shit, that sounds really interesting, or maybe that's an interesting trade idea, or maybe that coin's interesting that Lark just bought, don't just fucking blindly buy it. You should actually go. The tools for research have literally never been easier. Go fucking talk to Grok. It's free. Or I guess you got to pay for premium membership on X. But whatever. Go to ChatGPT. There's so many resources now where you can go and actually have these conversations and do research. It's easier than ever before. Okay? It's liberating. Just remember, I'm just some dude living in Lark's crawl space. No one talks about QNT. No, they don't really, do they? Vitalik thinks Cardano is a meme coin. Well, Vitalik and Charles go way back. Cardano lives rent-free in your head. It sure does, man. It sure does. I love clowning on Cardano. No, look, I wish Cardano all the best, man. I wish it the best. I really, really do. Keith, have you ever had a real job? Maybe. I like the inference that this is not a real job. It's hilarious, man. Look, creating content on the internet is a big job. We do a lot of stuff. We have our newsletter, right? It requires management of people, running of ads, creation of content, figuring out things, managing people, all this kind of stuff. If you think that ain't a job, then I don't know what the fuck you do for a living, to be honest. But if you mean like jobs not on the internet making shit tons of money in the digital economy, yeah, I had jobs before, all kinds of stuff. I was a teacher. I put myself through university, working in restaurants and bars and stuff like that. Washed dishes when I was a teenager for money, did construction work, all that kind of stuff. Does that fit the bill for you? But all that stuff was great. But I'll tell you what, you can scale your wealth much more. I worked on a cruise ship as well. You can scale your wealth much, much more in the digital economy. It's amazing shit. This cycle signed the death of crypto hodl mentality. It's been terrible. It has been terrible for blindly holding coins. Hamster coin is up 50% yesterday. What the fuck? Used Qualcomm on my commercial trucking vehicle for hours of service. They have their hands in many industries. Love Qualcomm as an investor. Oh, interesting. I like hearing that. Good. Fantastic. I should buy some more Qualcomm. Is it true that Coinbase will launch its token for the base chain? It seems to be the case. They basically said, yeah, we're going to launch our base token at some point. What that's going to look like, what the requirements are going to be, who the heck knows? Just be curious and go do stuff on base. That's probably the easiest thing to do. What is this comment? What is this comment? Oh my gosh. Lark, thoughts on Zcash? We covered the chart briefly, but look, I think overall the Zcash narrative is very fascinating because it's started this big move in other privacy coins like Dash is up and stuff like that, and Horizon and Decred, like coins that have been so fucking dead for so long and nobody's given a shit about, man. Monero surprisingly has not moved though, although it's pretty much the best privacy coin, but that's a different story. Look, there's been a big mind share of very influential people that got behind Zcash and are now saying it's the new Bitcoin. It's an interesting narrative. Certainly not anti-Zcash in any kind of way. I've never thought it's really the best privacy coin, to be honest. But you know what? Fair play. People are getting on the narrative, and sometimes narrative is all you need. They are willing it into existence. We got some big people out here bag working this, man. You got people like Arthur Hayes and Barry Silbert, Naval Ravikant. They are bag working the shit out of Zcash right now. Fair play. Fair play, man. I faded it. I faded the Naval shill. All I had to do. Naval Ravikant shilled a coin. Just fucking buy it, Lark. Where's my stick? Hit myself in the head with a stick. Turn off the thinking brain and just ape. That's it. You know, Paul Tudor Jones, one of the world's most legendary investors, he basically said the same thing. He said, there was a Stanley Druckenmiller, one of those guys, both legends. Anyway, he said, when I find a new thesis, something that sounds really cool and like, wow, that could be really big, but we need to do some research on it. He says, what we do is I get a position. I get skin in the game immediately. Not big size, but I get in. And then I go research, okay, why is this potentially going to be the next big thing? And he said, if I'm wrong, we cut it quick. If we're right, and we think that this is something that's got legs, we add more. Even if the price is up, buy more. You get in, you take a position immediately. I'm trying to live more of that ethos these days. I should have done that with Zcash too. Just, I don't know, such a dino coin, man. It has faded. What are you going to do? Is Zcash better than Monero? Well, I've always thought Monero is better than Zcash because Monero's privacy all the time. But Zcash is getting more and more private with their shielded pool and stuff like that. It's like 4 million coins. So it's got nice privacy features. It's just not privacy all the time. I know there's like the Zashi wallet that makes it privacy all the time. But yeah, I think Monero is the better coin. But the price action has not agreed with me. Always like Monero. Like the smash button. Let's go. What do you think will happen when Jerome Powell leaves office? Crypto going up and then mega crash after, probably. Trump's going to replace Jerome Powell with a puppet, someone who's going to play ball. When Trump calls and says cut rates, that dude's going to cut rates. When Trump says jump, he's going to say, how high, sir? I think this is Trump's key aim right now, to find somebody who's going to be very accommodating to extremely low interest rates. I think Trump said he wants 1% interest rates. That's going to just juice the hell out of the business cycle, out of the real estate markets, out of the business cycle, all this kind of stuff. Everything which has been, is still to this point, because rates remain restrictively high. I know we've had cuts, but they need to go much lower, right? The housing market's still basically frozen. The business cycle is still in contraction. ISM PMI came in at 48.5 or whatever this week. That's contraction, not expansion. Lark, what will the next dinosaur coin that can pump? Ironically, something like Bitcoin Cash. I would not be surprised. I'm not. I don't want to ride that train. Can you guys not do the Bitcoin Cash thing? Okay, let's just not. How about that? Zcash is just type. Look, Zcash is a fine coin. This is the thing. It's got real privacy features, a proof of work coin, all that kind of stuff. Fine. But why not Litecoin? Why not Monero? I think Litecoin and Monero are both better than Zcash in their own kind of ways, but not saying Zcash is bad, right? But just food for thought. But yeah, it's a lot of hype right now, but the chart keeps grinding up. Is the slanted hat intentional? Straight. Actually, I think the light's off. Put it on 10-minute cycles. We'll take the hat off. We've done the red light for the head. It's good. Any views on Kronos and the new Trump ETF? Man, everybody stopped talking about that real fast, didn't they? Trump came out and said they're going to buy billions of dollars worth of Kronos, and market's kind of like, oh yeah, it's pretty exciting for a day or two, and then everybody kind of forgot about it. Probably one of the coins to pay attention to. Crypto.com is huge. I'm surprised the Kronos chain hasn't done better. When will Lark coin rug? Well, I'm glad there isn't a Lark coin, or at least nothing I know of that I've ever talked about. So I will not be launching a coin. There's no Lark coin. There won't be a Lark coin. Okay. ZK Sync looks good here. These layer twos, man, don't know. You know, I don't get it, guys. What is up with the layer two trade? Look, Vitalik shilled ZK Sync. I think that's all it's really got going for it right now. Before that, it was looking pretty bad. Can Vitalik at least go shill Linea, which is, you know, backed by consensus, the main Ethereum development studio? I read somewhere that wearing hats makes alopecia worse. Interesting. Oh, not Ethereum Classic. It's worse than Bitcoin Cash. Actually, I don't know if it's worse than Bitcoin Cash, but they're in the same category. Seems like the kind of stupid thing the market would pump. Like, let's pump Ethereum Classic, man. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Once you start shilling Larkcoin amount, there will not be a Larkcoin. I don't believe in launching, creator coins or whatever. Not my thing. Now, if I was to ever, I don't know, launch a DeFi protocol or something like that, an exchange or something like that, that's different, right? That's an actual product that people could use versus just like a personal brand meme coin and stuff. That's just crazy shit. Vitalik took the tweet pump power from Elon. Vitalik needs to tweet more, man. Metrics for Cardano are off. You mean on DeFi Llama, they're not correct? Be interesting to hear why. XMR BTC is the way into the bear. I'm terrified it's going to rebound out of the blue to $3, and I just cost him making $15,000 back. Guys, what is this story? I think I missed out on part of that story, but oh man, yeah. Go talk to Grok about Cardano. Look, if the data on DeFi Llama is incorrect, then that's a different story. But from what I see, the data on, I mean, are you saying the data on DeFi Llama is not correct, and that there's actually like way more users and stuff going on, and way more total value locked, and way more stable coins, and all these things that are magically happening on Cardano that nobody ever fucking talks about? Yeah. Anyway. We're going to finish up there, guys. Let's keep an eye on the markets overnight. Bitcoin price, almost $102,000. Put up on the screen real quick. You can see here. Again, let's see if we can hold the price above the lows of yesterday. So much panic and fear on the timeline. 4 hours oversold, all that kind of stuff. It'd be a sensible place for at least a local low. Okay. Futures, bit of a mixed bag, but not looking terrible right now. I think crypto's already absorbed a big portion of the pain here. Okay. Let's see if we can finish today with some great green candles. Let's see if we can actually get some damn volume to back up some of these moves. That'd be nice to see. Anyway, you guys are awesome. I appreciate your time as always. Thank you so much. I'll see you back in the next one. Bye.